Hello everyone, welcome to another exciting episode of Dayspring Discussions. I'm your host Sean McGahee, and this is a show where we talk about movies, TV, sci-fi, fantasy, comic books. If you geek out about it, we're going to talk about it. You can listen to Dayspring Discussions on iTunes, YouTube, Podomatic, and Patreon, and contact Dayspring Discussions on the Facebook group, Twitter account, and dayspringdiscussions@gmail.com. Well, happy Tuesday everyone. It is a gorgeous day here in Austin, Texas. A little chilly this morning, warmed up for the day, and it's pretty nice out. So if you are in the area, hopefully you're outside enjoying the day. I'm having a good one here, and guys, we got a lot to talk about. We obviously know the big thing I'm going to talk about today, which is the Rise of Skywalker trailer, but I got a couple things real quick I want to knock out first, and then I'm going to go through and be very long-winded about my thoughts on the new Rise of Skywalker trailer. So we'll put that on hold first. Let me get to a couple of reviews here. Earlier today, I watched the newest DC animated film, Wonder Woman Bloodlines. Now, this is the newest DC animated film, and it follows the continuity of the DC animated cinematic universe, I guess is what you would call. Started off with Justice League War of Atlantis, Death of Superman, Batman, Hush, all those films. Okay, it's in the same universe. Rosario Dawson is back to do the voice of Wonder Woman. There are several references as far as the continuity in this world, and it sticks to it pretty good. Now, I'm not a big Wonder Woman guy. Probably my most favorite piece of Wonder Woman comics is the New 52 storyline, which is really odd because a lot of the New 52 I don't like, but I do like Wonder Woman mainly because with that they centered her very much in Greek mythology. Zeus is her dad, she's pretty much a demigod, and she's fighting other gods like Ares is really what the book is all about. And I'm a big fan of the Greek mythology, so it really interests me in that respect. So with this film, I wasn't quite sure what to think about it. I know they were going to go back and kind of retell her origin a little bit. So her Rogues Gallery, I'm not very familiar with. I know Cheetah, she's going to be in the upcoming Wonder Woman sequel, Wonder Woman 1984. I know there's Dr. Poison. She was featured in the first Wonder Woman film. In this one, you do have several others to go along with her. There's, what's her name? Giganta. That's what her name is. Yeah, she's in this as well. Cypher, Dr. Cypher, she's in this too. So again, this is a good film to introduce you to the Rogues Gallery that is Wonder Woman. And then of course at the end, you get kind of another Wonder Woman villain in the mid-credit scene with all of it too. So yes, stay tuned because there is a mid-credit scene, not a post-credit scene, but a mid-credit scene. You guys are going to watch this. But overall, what did I think of the film? It was pretty good. You know, I didn't like it as well as some of the other DC animated films that we've gotten in this universe, but I did enjoy it. I enjoyed the end, the brutality kind of Wonder Woman's last battle at the end was very interesting. And then of course really the center of the storyline is her relationship with the character Vanessa, otherwise known as Silver Swan in this one. And you know, kind of this bond that they had where they, you know, when Diana first came to Man's World as they call it, Vanessa and her mom kind of took her in, but then Vanessa kind of felt jealousy for Wonder Woman, and in doing so blamed Diana for, you know, a couple of things. I'm not going to spoil it for you. And, you know, then turns herself into a villain to try to get revenge against Wonder Woman on that. But overall, like I said, the storyline's pretty decent. It's just not as interesting in my eyes as some of the other ones. The animation is a little off compared to the other films, so that kind of threw me. I like the animation of the other films a little bit better. But the voice cast is good. Of course, like I said, Rosario Dawson, great actress, great voice talent. I love her as Wonder Woman. I hope she keeps doing that. Jeffrey Donovan as Steve Trevor in this one. He has a much bigger role than he's had in the other ones. He keeps jumping around as far as voice casting, though, because I know he's been voice cast by several different guys within the animated universe. The other one that I really want to recognize is Constance Zimmer as Veronica Cale. Now, I know Constance Zimmer from shows such as Entourage and The Newsroom, so whenever I see her pop up on something, I like seeing her. You know, those are two shows that I really enjoy, so seeing her on this or doing a voice cast for this, I like that a lot. With this story, too, of course, you have where, in the beginning, when Diana saves Steve and she tries to take him back to Man's World, as I keep referring to it, her mother's against it, and she ends up in a confrontation with her to where she knows if she leaves, she can never come back. But at the end of the film, she has to come back to try to save Themyscira. And there's the whole conflict with her mom and all of it. So for that respect, I did enjoy it. Again, if you're a Wonder Woman fan, I think you should highly check it out. If you don't know a lot about Wonder Woman, again, I recommend checking it out because I think you'll learn a lot. Also on the DVD, they show the preview for the next animated DC film, Superman Red Son, based off the graphic novel by Mark Millar. Really looking forward to that, especially after the behind-the-scenes stuff. Just kind of the Elseworld story of Superman fighting for communism as opposed to capitalism is an interesting concept, and of course what they do with the characters in that as well. So I'm definitely looking forward to that one too. But like I said, go check out Wonder Woman Animated Bloodlines. Tell me what you think, and then of course we'll discuss it. Alright, next thing I want to talk about is Watchmen. Now, HBO premiered the first episode for their Watchmen series on Sunday night. It starred Regina King and Don Johnson. This is a story, takes place many years after the Watchmen storyline. Because remember, I know a lot of people haven't read the graphic novel, but those of you who read the book, we're looking at the 1980s, and this takes us to present day, 2019. So the events of the Watchmen have, been gone for a while now, probably about 30 years or so, is it? It's the separation of the events from, Owlman, Silver Spectre, Rorschach, all that stuff, to up to date and kind of what the world is like after the events of the Watchmen 30 years ago, and how policemen really have to protect themselves almost like vigilantes with masks and, trying to protect their families. A white supremacist group that is wearing the mask of Rorschach and, attacking people in their name. This series was very different than what I thought it was possibly going to be. There's still a lot of questions, of course, like in the episode where Don Johnson's character is flying in Archie, which is Owlman's old ship, and how he got in there to use it, especially in Tulsa, Oklahoma. And then, of course, there's that one scene where the squids are raining down. From that, you kind of get the sense that they're going off of the graphic novel and not the movie by Zack Snyder, because in the movie, Oz, the villain, creates an event that's going to unite mankind. And in doing so, he has to create a catastrophe. Excuse me, I got that out finally. Create a catastrophe for them to unite around. And in doing so, he creates an event in which it looks like Dr. Manhattan is behind it. It's like a nuclear bomb. So Manhattan goes, thinking it's the best thing, and leaves. And then, people are left to unite and the world gets better. But in the comic books, it's not a bomb. Zack Snyder and the people at Warner Brothers thought it'd be different to change it from what the catastrophe really was, which was basically a giant squid that goes around and kills people, and people have to fight this squid and unite against it. So they thought maybe a nuclear bomb would be a better scenario. To be honest, I'm going to have to agree with the filmmakers on this one. I don't think audiences at that time, maybe today they might be a little better, but audiences at the time when the film came out, I think it was 2009 maybe it was. I don't think they could unite around a giant squid like that. Today they might be able to handle it, but I think making it an atom bomb was the better route. And the episode starts out centering around the Tulsa Massacre of 1929, where I believe it was members of the KKK massacred African Americans, and it was just a slaughter. Obviously, the word massacre is used. But what I found very interesting is the fact that I myself, as a guy who grew up in Middletown, Indiana, had no idea about this event. And from what I'm getting on social media, a lot of people didn't know about this event that had happened. It's the first time they're learning about it. So you got to give them credit for bringing this to light. I'm sure they knew, a lot of people didn't know about it, and showing people what it was and how horrific it was, really. So bringing that to light, and just, again, they're talking about, I think, race relations a lot in this episode or in this series, given the fact that our main character is an African American woman, Regina King, and again, the Rorschach group, I forgot what they call themselves, they're, pretty much the new KKK is what it is. So again, we're living in a world, or they're living in a world that is very different from our 2019, or maybe not so different, I guess, depending on how you see it. And the way it plays out is very interesting. It's not like The Boys, which I thought it was going to be more like. It's very different, very gritty, and of course definitely speaks on a very social level about the state of our world, the state of our country, and how we treat people, I guess. But yeah, again, it was very different from what I thought it was going to be. I'm going to stick with it, though. You can go check it out on HBO Now or wherever you watch HBO. Share your thoughts. Let me know what you think about it. And, if it gets really good, I'll be talking about it later on, okay? All right, guys, time for the main event. Last night, during Monday Night Football, the last trailer for Episode 9, The Rise of Skywalker, the Star Wars saga, aired. And I was right in the middle of halftime in the Patriots versus Jets, which was a horrible game to watch. I hate the goddamn New England Patriots so much. They're the evil empire of the NFL and professional sports in general, with their own personal Darth Vader in Tom Brady. But, okay, I got to reel it back a little bit. I'm not here to bash on the Patriots and how much they cheat and how much they play dirty, but anyway, okay, so Rise of Skywalker coming out December 20th. Tickets went on sale yesterday. I went after work and sat in the theater for about 15 minutes, and about 7 o'clock Central Time, they went on sale, grabbed my tickets. Very different experience from the last couple times where I went to Alamo Drafthouse and there was a little bit of a line and I had to wait. This time I went in and I sat there and I told the guys, like, hey, I'm here for Star Wars tickets. Where do you want me to wait? Thinking there might be a line. I thought I might have to be there for another hour or two. But nope, I sat there for about 15 minutes. I looked online. Someone said Regal theaters were, selling them. I hopped online, saw that my theater was selling them. So I walked up to the guy and be like, hey, tickets are on sale. I got 2 tickets for Thursday for me and my wife. And then Friday, I got a whole bunch of people. I pretty much got a whole row, 12 tickets of people to go. We got us, our friends, a few other people that are going to go with us, and I'm looking forward to. That's kind of what we've done, with Star Wars. I definitely did that for Last Jedi, where the opening night is just me and my wife, both be big Star Wars fans, and I love the fact that she is such a Star Wars fan, or has turned into a Star Wars fan since marrying her, that I'm super excited, and I try to keep it, just us that first night, but then the second night, we bring friends, family, whoever wants to go see it, and enjoy that. So got my tickets, so we're good there. And so I was able to go home and watch the trailer. I got there, tickets went on sale 7. Game didn't even start till I think 7:30, so plenty of time. However, my wife and I were working on our garbage disposal, which broke the night before. So we were fixing that while we were waiting for the trailer to drop. And it did. And of course, then I promptly turned off the football game because I didn't want to watch that garbage anymore. And then we watched the trailer a couple times, paused it a couple times, analyzed it a little bit, and of course, I've seen it a fair amount now. So I'm pretty much going to go through just kind of my general thoughts about a couple shots I liked. Of course, you guys fire back. Let me know what you think about it and, what you feel were some of the highlights of the trailer, and did it give you any more theories about what's going on? Because really, I don't think we got a lot more as far as the story-wise than we have before. I'll start off by saying this. I thought it was a beautiful trailer because they've been talking about how it's the end of the Skywalker saga. Episode 9, the end of the Skywalker saga. Everything after this, as far as Star Wars, is going to be different. Even started with The Mandalorian, where we're getting away from the Skywalker family, the Skywalker legacy, and it's all going to be different from this point on. But also a thought I had was, this is kind of the last of what I would say highly anticipated films, because we got Avengers Endgame months back, and now we've gotten the last of the Star Wars movies for a while, especially the end of this trilogy, and I feel like there's no real big movies I'm looking forward to, or even the general audience is looking forward to, for a couple years. The next Star Wars movie isn't set to come out till 2022, which there's a lot of stuff going on TV, as far as Disney Plus and other things. But as far as movie-wise, I don't see another film that I am highly anticipating as part of a franchise past The Rise of Skywalker. So that does kind of make me a little sad, but you know what? We got plenty of good stuff coming out as far as other movies, TVs, all sorts of stuff. I mean, personally, I'm super psyched for the next couple months as a Star Wars fan. You got Star Wars Resistance Season 2, which I wasn't a big fan of Season 1 until the end when it started to pick up, but I'm totally on board Season 2. I've been keeping up with that. Just watched the latest episode an hour or two ago. Of course, you have The Mandalorian coming out, and then you also have Jedi Fallen Order. I've already pre-ordered it, bought a PS4 just so I could play it, so I'm all set for that. Of course, Rise of Skywalker, and then in February, we have the Clone Wars returning / ending, which, of course, I know my wife is super excited about that, and so am I. So the next 4 months as a Star Wars fan, we're pretty much covered. Plenty of us to enjoy, and, of course, we got more to come, so we're good to go, but that's that. All right, so let's get into the trailer, actually. So let's start off, of course, with the first couple of shots. You have Rey running through some woods. She drops a helmet and looks like she's being chased by a training ball, right? The kind that Luke used in the Falcon and we've seen before. I think this goes for the other shot we saw in the previous trailer where she throws a lightsaber and catches it with the training ball. I think, again, she's training is what it is. I think this is just her, honing her skills and training is what it is. But then at the one point, she jumps over and she goes into an old Star Destroyer, kind of like in Force Awakens where she was scavenging the Star Destroyer for parts. She jumps over and she's in the Star Destroyer. I think, especially since she doesn't have her lightsaber on her, it's some kind of vision she's going through. I think there's several parts of this trailer that are visions that she's having, dreams perhaps, kind of like she did in The Force Awakens, where she was on Cloud City in Bespin during the battle with Luke and Vader, and then of course in the scene where she sees Kylo Ren and the Knights of Ren in the rain. I think it's just another vision from her past, from her life in there. Coming up, of course, we go to the shot of kind of the rebellion, and we have this little voiceover that's in there too. I can't tell if it's Finn or Poe, really. I think it's Finn in the voiceover about them coming together through the Force is what they believe. Then a shot of the rebellion. There's a big kind of wide shot of the rebellion, everyone. You see Lando in there, definitely kind of stands out. I think you also see Poe as well, and next to him I believe is Finn, and I think really those two are becoming very key members of the Resistance. And then of course you have the shot of Rose in there as well, and what's his name from Lord of the Rings? Dominic Monaghan, that's what it is. Yeah, Dominic Monaghan. I can see he's behind Rose in that shot, so we do have that. I'm glad to see Rose Tico's back in there, of course. I know the actress Kelly Marie Tran got a lot of crap for her role in The Last Jedi, and I'm glad to see that she's back. And I like the character, so I'm glad to see her and hope she has a decent role in this film. Now, of course, I think the one shot that a lot of people, I think that this really gave me the feels, at least, is going to be the shot of C-3PO right in the middle of the trailer where Poe asks, "What you doing?" And 3PO says, "Having one last look at my friends." And again, this is all about the saga's ending. And my wife and I were discussing this at lunch today, too, about what that shot means and what's happening. So we're at the end of the Skywalker saga. The characters are kind of dying off, at least all the older characters. Han's gone. Luke's gone. We know Leia's gone. What I was telling her is the fact that, if you look at everyone who's gone or going to be gone by the end of this film, we know for sure, the people who would be left would definitely be, besides 3PO, R2 and Chewie. And the thing is, though, anybody can play Chewie and R2. And that's why everyone else is gone. So I think, whether it's 10 or 20 years now or even 5 years from now, they decide to do another Star Wars film, Anthony Daniels probably won't be 3PO if they bring 3PO in it. And that wouldn't be right. I think 3PO, being that he's always been a worrisome character, always trying to protect himself. There's the line in The Empire Strikes Back where, he's talking about, surely surrender is an option. The Empire might be gracious enough, and then Leia turns him off before he can say anything. He's always been scared. So for him to maybe step up a little bit in this film, maybe sacrifice himself to save his friends, to save part of the Resistance, it seems like a very anti-3PO thing to do. So for that, I think that might be, a good send-off for the character. What really got me is the fact that he said it, and then the next shot we see is him touching R2-D2. Whether it's the same shot or not, I don't know. But, their friendship, the two droids that have taken us on this journey through the Skywalker saga, that shot just gave me the feels right there is what it did. And then you have the beautiful music. Now, the music in this, it's the Star Wars theme, but it's just done just very differently on a higher note. More operatic maybe is the word I'm looking for. Probably not. Not good with words, obviously, but it just sounded a little more sweet in all of it. So I really liked the music, played all of it, and it gave it that tone with the pictures we were seeing, kind of the finality of all of it, where this is indeed the end. Not the end of Star Wars. God knows, not the end of Star Wars, but the end for the Skywalker saga. Okay, let's get to some of the juicier shots. Okay, you had the shot with looks like the TIE fighters going towards kind of an ice planet or mountain or whatever. I thought that was pretty cool. Just the shot itself looks super cool. The aspect ratio, that's going to be really cool in that one. Then on the other side, you have the Millennium Falcon flying in with looks like a bunch of ships behind them. And everyone, immediately when they saw that, the teaser that popped up yesterday before the trailer came out, noticed on the right-hand side what looked like the Ghost, the ship from Star Wars Rebels. So people are like, oh, is that Hera? Or is it, Sabine? Or because, a lot of the characters of the Ghost do survive the series. But for me, I think a lot of people immediately thought, well, it's 30 years after Return of the Jedi. The more likely person to be inside that ship would be Hera and Kanan's son, Jason Syndulla, as a grown man. Even if they just show a character with green hair, I would love that. But they don't say his name. Just show me a character with green hair within Resistance, and I'll be a happy camper. I'll flip out and cheer, and everyone around me will be like, what the hell is this guy's problem? But, all right, another shot, of course, the Stone Throne, as I call it. Now, people are popping up on social media. This is indeed kind of concept art for what the Emperor's throne looked like originally in Return of the Jedi. So, again, bringing some of the stuff that was from the past to the present. I have that book, Star Wars Icons Han Solo. It's this huge book all about the character of Han Solo, conception and inspiration and then forth. But one of the things I was flipping through, and one of the original concept arts of Chewie, my wife looked at it, and it's like, why is that picture of Zeb in there? Zeb being the character from Star Wars Rebels. And I was like, wait, no. That was actually the original concept art for Chewie in the original Star Wars film. And then Dave Filoni and crew took that character design and made a new character, Zeb, for Star Wars Rebels. So, again, they do that quite a bit in Star Wars, where they take early concept designs that then got changed or refined and then use it later on to pay homage to old Star Wars. There's a shot of Rey and Kylo in the rain. Looks like she's waiting for him, and she's mad about something. Okay? Obviously, she's waiting for him for a battle. They're going to fight. I don't know how this relationship's going to go, because going to the other shot, which has got everybody buzzing, is the shot of Rey and Kylo. Looks like they're in some kind of place that looks like Cloud City, to be honest. It looks like Cloud City to me. It's so nice and neat. But they destroy something. Now, people are speculating it's some kind of statue or shrine that he has built to Darth Vader, and they finally made up, and he's tearing it down. I said that maybe it's just, something they break while they're in the middle of a fight, perhaps. I don't know. And then another thing about the shot, too, is Rey has the lightsaber in one hand, and then in her other hand, she's got a dagger. And people are speculating or hoping or whatever you want to call it, that is the dagger of Mortis. Those of you who don't know what it is, here's a little lesson for you. Star Wars Clone Wars Season 3, the Mortis Trilogy, as they call it. If you haven't watched it, please go back and watch it. It's a really good episode talking about the Force and the balance and the light and the dark, and centers around Anakin and his prophecy as the chosen one. But on it, there's the Father, the Son, and the daughter. And the daughter represents light, the Son represents the dark, and then the Father is the balance. Well, there's a dagger that can kill the Son. Obi-Wan gets it, and then the Son takes it and was going to try to kill his father, but ends up killing his sister, who then Anakin uses his powers to transfer some of the life from the daughter to Ahsoka, who's died, and that's a whole other story. But anyway, that dagger is in there, and people are hoping or speculating that that's the same dagger. I don't think it is. I don't think they're going to reach that far into an animated series and bring it into a general population film. I don't think they're going to take something that's very, unknown and put it into, a film that only, 1% of the people who watched the movie will have seen that episode of the Clone Wars, probably less. I don't think they do that, but you never know. I would love to see it and have them pay fan service, because J.J. Abrams said this wraps up all 9 films, not just this trilogy, not just of the characters before it, the original trilogy, or even the prequels. It's all of them together. So to take some stuff that reaches beyond into the expanded universe, I would love to see that. Okay, what are the good shots that we get? Of course, we got the shot of Rey hugging Leia. Curious to see how they're going to, use deleted footage and unseen footage to bring General Leia to life on this. Of course, it was no coincidence this trailer come out on October 21st, which would have been the birthday of Carrie Fisher. I think it's very great, very fitting. So I love that they did that as well. What else we got? I'm going to save the one good one for the end. You have the big battle. Horses in what looks like a big space battle. I don't know how that's going to work. I honestly don't. But honestly, from every shot we've gotten with the Star Destroyers, with the Rebel Fleet, with the TIE Fighters, I'm looking for an epic space battle at the end of this film or anywhere in this film. And from what it looks like, we're going to get it. I think it's going to be awesome. I think it's cool. I don't know how the horses are going to factor into it. Finn's on a horse. You got BB running beside him. I don't know, but give me an epic space battle, and I think that will be awesome. Another one, of course, last one before I want to talk about the big one, is the shot of Rey and Kylo in the old throne room. That indeed is the old throne room from Episode 6, of course, and, we can tell that the crew is going back to the destruction of the second Death Star. Something maybe is calling Rey back to it, or they have to find something from it, perhaps. Again, we don't know the story. J.J. Abrams is all about his secrets. I mean, we have gotten little teases about the Emperor being in this movie, and, that's what the last shot is. I'll go and tell you that last shot, of course, that I wanted to talk about was the shot of Rey looking over someone who looks like he's in a cloak, and my guess is that's the Emperor. That's the way of seeing the Emperor without showing the Emperor. They want to save it, much like he wanted to save the surprise of Benedict Cumberbatch being Khan in Star Trek Into Darkness. He wants to save the Emperor, but I can totally see him doing something to where the Emperor isn't in this film. Now, Ian McDiarmid is listed in the credits on IMDb for this film, but I can see it being something to where they don't actually show him in real life. Like maybe like they do a flashback from him, maybe they show a hologram of him, a message. I don't think he's, I could definitely see him not still being alive. I think a lot of people would be really mad if they were teaching us about Palpatine this entire time and then they didn't show him and acted like, he was just a little looming threat. Because in the books, what is it the book series? I forget what it was. I didn't read it. My wife did. But, the First Order is kind of the result of the Emperor's contingency plans if the Empire fails. And he also had other things going on in the galaxy. So I could see it, him being this looming threat, but not actually showing him. I don't think so. I don't think, because I think they know, J.J. Abrams, they know that they've been teasing the Emperor this whole time. And if we don't see the Emperor in this film, I think a lot of people are going to be very pissed. I don't think I will if they execute it right, but I can see a lot of people being pissed if they don't actually show him in this. So, what else do I got? I think that's about it as far as shots that I wanted to talk about. Of course, you got the end scene, the very last shot, which is Rey. She's standing there with her lightsaber, a great shot. And, there's the words of Luke, "The Force be with you." But at the end, General Leia finishes with "always." Great stuff. Great stuff there. I enjoyed it. I didn't need this trailer. As a guy who already knew he was going to see this thing opening day, as a big Star Wars fan, I didn't need this trailer. But I liked it. We still don't get a little bit sense of the story of like what they're after, why the main characters are going on this journey. Obviously, the overlining threat is the Resistance versus the First Order, and everything's going to wrap up in this film. I still don't know. Honestly, I don't know, and I really don't care to know. Just show me the movie. You know what? I trust the filmmakers of this part, and even if not, I think it's going to give me something satisfying. Of course, we're going to get TV spots between now and then, but I don't watch TV spots. I just do the trailers because I try to go as spoiler-free as possible. The last thing I want to talk about before we leave is going to be the poster. So they also came out with the poster yesterday for the Rise of Skywalker, and it looks pretty cool. I like it. I think it's one of those things where they try to cram too many people into a picture, but honestly, it's not that great in my eyes compared to the other Star Wars posters we've gotten. If you look at the other posters, especially for this trilogy compared to the last trilogy, the prequels had kind of the same color palette, which made them very cool. You had the original trilogy, which, had very artistic style to them, especially Episode 4 and Episode 5. The ones we've gotten for this new trilogy, they look cool by themselves, but as a whole, I don't feel like they connect. My wife was saying too, at lunch, we were talking about the poster, and Lisa was saying how if you showed me just this picture with no title, she couldn't tell you which movie it's from. Out of the three, movies, she couldn't tell you which one it's from because it looks so very generic. Granted, I like it as far as, what we're seeing, but it looks, again, very generic. There's no art to the poster is what I'm trying to say. And a lot of movie posters are like that nowadays, where there's no craft in the movie poster business, which is a shame, definitely. So, it's okay, but I've seen better. I've seen a lot better, and I wish they were more like not only the original trilogy, but also the prequel trilogies. All right, guys, well, that is it for me today. Of course, fire back on those social media groups and Gmail account. Let me know what you think about any of the topics I've talked about. Obviously, the Star Wars trailer, most people are going to have thoughts about. Let me know your theories. What do you think about it? Do you think it was a mistake to not show Palpatine? Did you want to see Luke? What do you think is going to happen, guys? Do you have your tickets? Let me know. I'd love to discuss it. I'll discuss it all day long. Of course, Watchmen, did you check out the HBO series premiere? Let me know. And a Wonder Woman, the animated movie. I'm sure a lot of you guys haven't checked it out. If you're a fan of the character, if you're a fan of the DC animated movies, check it out. Fire back. Let me know what you think. All right, so like I said, that is it for me today. Lisa and I have not done a review of Episode 2, Attack of the Clones yet. We're having a hard time finding the time to do it. Going to try to get to it before we do Episode 3 next week. We'll see how it goes, guys. But that is it. Hope you guys enjoy your day. Go out, live your best life, and until next time, may the Force be with us all.